Welcome back. Here we are with the house build. Finally got the block up, roof's on. You can see the shape of the house, and the roof lines definitely are the icing on the cake with as far as making the house look the way it looks. It's nice to see the size of the front lawn. Usually I had a huge pile of block over there. My trusses took up most of this space, but now everything is installed, so it looks pretty nice and open up here. The time-lapse camera has failed me again, so I'm just going to put some clips as far as everything that's been done from the last video to today. If you're one of those people that never finish a video and you want to take anything from this video, it's this. Make sure you get yourself a good drafter and a good engineer, ones that work with you and don't fight you. If you have problems in your planning stages, which I did with mine, go somewhere else and get somebody, and make sure it's a place you could actually go to, a physical location, not just email. Make sure you could sit down with them and talk to them about whatever issues you're having. If they just want to deal with you through email, I highly suggest finding a different one. At this stage is where you're going to find out all the issues you've had with your plans and your engineer. We're going to go over some of the ones we had here and show you around. One of the first engineering issues we had was with this column here, which is between the two garage doors. You can see it only has 3 cells of block, and they called for 4 rebars. Nobody caught that till the inspector came to pour the bond beam, which is going to be that lintel and the row above, block above it. And all this was already done. There was no way of putting a 4th rebar. There could only be space for 3. So I had to pay for an engineering letter from the engineers. It was probably their mistake anyways, but if you want to keep moving forward instead of sitting there fighting to see whose mistake it is, I just paid the $250 and to get moving forward. And that was the first issue. We'll go on to the second one. Second issue was once we started getting done with the block, the builder was doing the wood takeoff, and he saw that there was no ledger in the plans here to attach all the trusses to. And when I contacted the engineers about it, they said we couldn't put a hanger to the block, that it needed a ledger. So they designed this ledger in there, but now they wanted to have another row of bond beam where this was, but again, all the block was already done. So we're going back and forth with them. We've been going at this since June 19th. It's now September 11th. And they still haven't really got back to me on the plans. I did about 2 weeks ago when they did the rake beam pour. I paid an extra $350, which was already like probably 3 weeks after we started coming up with this issue, for them to look at the engineering to make sure that we didn't need rebar, and that just filling from the bond beam up full of concrete, so all those screws going to solid concrete was going to be enough. And I was supposed to get the plans done and everything engineered right away, and still haven't received anything, but I did receive the information we needed to move forward with that pour, and that was again another $350 because of their mistake and them dragging their feet. And their last mistake was back here with this beam. I did not want any column in the middle. I wanted it to be all one big open space. And for some reason in some of the plans, which I didn't catch till, of course, you get to the time when you need it, but in some of the plans, the beam and posts will go to the corner like it is here. And in some pages, it kind of ended just shy of the corner, which will be weird. I don't know why anybody would want that. So when I brought it to the attention of the engineers, well, they said, well, the beam I ordered could not span the additional 30 inches, which was probably from right there to right there. So I was either going to have to add a column in the middle, which defeats the purpose of having this ridiculous beam in the first place. So going back and forth, my builder recommended adding a fourth beam, which you could see here. You can see the three more yellow ones are the ones I originally ordered, and the fourth oranger one is a solution to the issue. And after we came up with that, now they're telling me I need an overhang on this side of the beam, at least a foot out, which I don't know why. The original plans never had an overhang. They're saying because the beam is not pressure treated that it needs an overhang. So now we got to order more wood for an overhang for the whole span. And now we're going to be short on the TJIs because we used the truss plan, which was the only page it was short on, to order the TJIs. So I think I'm going to have to order a couple more of those. And we're still going again back and forth on exactly how much is the overhang, and if we're going to have to put an overhang on that side and what they're going to require. Then they also came and said, after everything was signed and sealed the first time, saying everything was good, that we needed to fill the cells from the slab up to that bracket to support the weight of that bracket. And they just wanted one cell to be filled, which makes no sense because the bracket goes to the two cells outside of the one they want to fill. So the builder filled those, filled above it. That way all those screws go into solid concrete, and then there's concrete going all the way to the bottom there, supporting the weight of what that column's putting. So enough of the engineering. Let's take a look around the house and see what we got. So now let's go over some of the things I'm not happy with what the subs have done. Here we're on the lanai, which I'm already not happy about that there. And they poured the rake beam. You could see concrete, little droplets everywhere. So now this looks like absolute ass back here. And there is no cleaning that's going to make this look any better, because the lanai they decided to do a brush finish on. And where all those little concrete boogers are, I don't care how much you clean it, one's going to be a different color, and if you paint it, it's going to have a different texture, because all those dots are going to be smooth. Because what they would do is they get a shovel and scrape the concrete off of it. So now all those dots are all going to be smooth, and the rest is going to be brushed. So we're definitely going to have to do pavers or something back here, some kind of tile, because paint ain't going to fix it. And there's also a couple spots inside the house where you can see little concrete booger there, concrete booger there. So all that's going to have to be chipped out before laying the floor, which isn't a huge deal, but it's just causing more work than if they would have just picked it up to begin with. And then over here is what's taking the polished concrete idea definitely out of the equation. There is chips everywhere in the slab. It looks like they either dropped some equipment over here, or something fell, or they weren't careful with the scaffolding. So the idea of polished concrete floors are definitely out of the question. I mean, there's a couple cracks, but that's normal. Can't really prevent that. So we are going to be putting laminate, I think, is the final decision. To save some money and some time, I'll be doing that myself also. And that's pretty much all the negative I could say right now. I guess we'll end this video on the positive. I do like the fact that they put all the insulation first and then your furring strips. I've seen a lot of houses where they put your furring strips and then they put the foam in between, and then you have gaps, a little bit of gaps between the furring strip and the insulation. And like this, you're also gonna have 1 inch of furring strip, 1 inch of foam. So you're gonna have a 1 inch air gap plus your insulation, which is gonna give you a better insulation, and it gives you that much more room to have to run an outlet box or an outlet. And if you run all your wires or your plumbing, you don't have to take out your insulation. You can run the wiring or plumbing on top of your insulation and cut your furring strips. So I do like that. The other thing I like that the builder did is he ordered this zip system sheeting for the roof, and this is like a waterproof cover, and once you nail that, you just got to tape all the seams of the panels and it will be waterproof. So you could either lay your roof directly on that, but we're still going to be putting a peel and stick before we do put the metal. But it is nice to have another layer of protection, and once I tape all the panels, the house will be waterproof until the roofers install their roof. So I definitely like that. And you can see it's been getting wet just because all the rain has been raining here every day, and the wood is still nice and square. None of the edges are lifting up. So I do like that the builder has done. All right, that's gonna be it for this video. Next video is gonna be about the plumbing and electrical and all the walls getting installed. That is why I did this video a little early. The roof's not 100% done, but by the time I'll be able to do another video, I'll have walls in here. So I just wanted to get a video all just bare, empty. And as far as the plumbing, talking with the builder, he was talking with the plumber. He still wanted to do his idea of running all the fittings and water lines in the attic. And that wall right there is why you cannot run it in the attic. This wall is above that wall. So there's no way of doing it without a bunch of fittings, and I didn't want it. So we're doing what I did with all my pre-run water lines. Here you can see the other ones. So we went to the county and I did the owner builder on the plumbing, and I did the owner builder on the HVAC, how we're gonna be installing mini splits. So next video is gonna be about all the plumbing fixtures I'm gonna be installing, and how they'll kind of look better and less equipment, less fittings. So stay tuned for the next video. See you next time.